You're listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks.
Here with John Hicks this week, I'm Jennifer Perry. If you have a question for us that you'd like us to address on the podcast, reach out to us. Connect with us on Facebook. Just do a search there for the Retirement Solution with John Hicks, or just go online to retirementsolutionradio.com. We do a lot of research before this show every week, John. So as I was sorting through articles this past week, I saw the most life-changing headline ever on Fox Business.
Man gives birth to werewolf?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's almost as outrageous. But it says, avoid this one thing to save $360,000 more for retirement.
Ooh.
So clearly I clicked on it. Okay,
Of
so I
course.
did that for our listeners here. You can thank
Were
me
they
for
talking
that.
about taxes?
No, actually, they're talking about fees in particular. So they say the one thing is just fire your financial advisor, manage your own investments, save the fee you're paying to that guy or gal, and we're going to have more money. Your take on this? I want to know.
I've been teaching people that for years and years when I do all my classes at the University of Louisville and really other colleges since then. So, yeah, this is one of those things that we used to always go through. The question is, how much of the stuff that we own, is it because it's a packaged product? And how many fees are within that thing, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I used to show everyone is there are certain metrics or certain things we really should look at when we're developing a retirement portfolio. And so here's the thing that I would teach people. And listen, this is not just a quick, hey, let me give you these 3 little tricks. This was typically 2 nights, 3 hours each night, where we would go through basically the fundamentals of retirement MBA finances.
Wow. I do love how in-depth your courses are. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it, everyone needs to understand, nothing should be superficial when you're talking about your life savings, right? So you really need to have a basis and a gauge for what we can do and what is frankly just non-achievable, right? So one of the things that I always, especially when that headline says, listen, you can save $360,000. Just fire your guy. And that sounds great, except for that you were a barber yesterday. And now you're a barber who's going to manage his $600,000 nest egg, only equipped with some really good sharp shears and some, I don't know, Barbasol?
Right. Not the right tools, right?
No, those may not be the right tools. Now, here's the thing. Could we potentially do it on our own? Absolutely. But where do we start? What are we solving for? And how do we know we're not going to wreck it, right? Because you got to shave a lot of beards. You got to cut a lot of hair to save $600,000 over the course of time. So what I would typically show people is there's about 3 pieces of software that typically are very inexpensive. Some of them are even free.
Okay.
And you can actually break down what you currently own and just find out, hey, first of all, how is my stuff constructed? What's it supposed to do for the long run? You can see that first. Because no one should ever make a change to their portfolio until they know how they're currently situated.
Right.
So the whole point of me saying this is when we teach people this, there are 3 metrics we always have to understand. Number 1 is standard deviation. Now I just changed everything, didn't it? Now I just threw out a bunch of crazy words.
You just went geeky.
I did. But listen, you have to understand this because I agree with the article's headline, Jennifer. I don't know how they taught someone to do it, but I'm very honest in the fact that, yes, you can save without any question the cost of an advisor if you can simply do 2 things well.
What's that?
Number 1, manage your standard deviation, which is the amount of volatility that it takes over time to get the rate of return you need.
Okay. I understand that better. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. And number 2, how do you create an income stream regardless of that volatility? See, those are the 2 big ones. Now, amazingly, when you look at the type of people that do this for pension funds and major corporations, these are typically 7-figure incomes. Why is that? Because it's not necessarily easy, right?
They had to have a lot of schooling for this.
Right. And here's what it comes down to. It's really less doing the math behind it and computing standard deviation. It's really more in lines with, okay, now that this happened, where do we go from here? And the problem that all of us have is that emotional problem, right?
Yeah.
Because we knew and we know how long it took us to save $300, $400, $600, $1.1 million, $3.9 million, $7.4 million. And it wasn't overnight.
Right.
And we just don't want to see it evaporate. And the problem is our emotions get in the way 100% of the time. So even though I do agree in context that yes, you can save $360,000 if you don't hire someone, I don't cost $360,000 a year.
Okay, that's good. Good to know.
Hey, let's just full disclosure. Let's go ahead and get that right out there.
Okay.
That's not what it costs. So what they're talking about is if you did this and had an advisor for probably 40 years and so forth.
You paid like a 1% fee, right?
Yeah, 1% fee, right? And I agree you could save that. The question, though, is the outcome, right? So the means justifies the end. But what if you make the wrong decision at the wrong time, like last February or March?
Yeah.
And you decided because your emotions got in the way of the math you were doing to calculate your investment returns, and you pulled out and you didn't get back in. Well, you may have actually locked in a 20 to 30% loss. You do that one time out of 30 years, and I bet you money you will never catch up to what that professional fiduciary could have done for you.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. The difference between a rookie and a professional, an all-pro even, is that a rookie, they were spending all their time just to get to the big dance. And the pro, they've been in the big dance, and all they're trying to do is just to ensure that they stay there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what retirement's based on. So I agree, and I think it's true. There's all kinds of ways you can cut fees. We are always trying to find ways to cut fees for our clients on the inside of the portfolios. Most of the things we use are anywhere between a fifth to a tenth of the cost of the average retail mutual fund. So there's all kinds of ways to cut fees. I don't necessarily know if not hiring a guide to go up the mountain is the right choice, though.
Like what you hear? Be sure to hit the subscribe button. And thanks for listening to The Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. J. Hagan Capital is a registered investment advisor. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products and annuities offered through John Hicks. Kentucky Insurance License Number 998827.